Hey everyone, sorry we're late to our own live broadcast. Had a little bit of technical glitch there. Let me go ahead and make sure that we are in fact live. Okay. And let me make sure too that the folks on today's meet can see and hear us. Let's just wait just a second, ladies. It has been a weird pre-broadcast. And I do see we have 7 viewers, so that's good. Okay, yay. Thanks, Raul, for checking in with us. We're so glad to be here with you guys in week 4. Allie, I think you're muted.
Sorry, my kids were yelling in the background.
I know how that goes, believe me. Well, so I have 3 of my amazing team leads. As you've figured out now, these team leads are spectacular. I could not do this course without them. They are the heart of the course. And so I want to have them introduce themselves really quickly to you. You know them by now, but let's go ahead and give a shout out to your team. We'll start with you, Allie.
Okay. Hi, team collaborators. I hope you're out there watching and listening. It's good to talk with you guys tonight. My name's Allie Van Dyne, and I am a campus math specialist in Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD. I just finished my 10th year of teaching, and I'm finishing up my master's this August, and I'm so excited. Can't wait. Best summer ever. Okay.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And Angela?
Hi, Team Connectors. I'm Angela Kahn. I teach in Burleson ISD. This next year, I'm going to be the testing coordinator and AP lead. And I am also graduating in August, finishing my master's. It will be done, finally.
I am so pumped. I get to hit both of you and Rachel and Hannah. And so I'm just, beyond pumped for commencement to come. Nicole, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, innovators. I'm Nicole Mishnick. I'm the project director for After School Grant with Region 12, and I am finishing up my dissertation in August.
Yay! That's much more definitive than it was last time, Nicole.
Yeah, last time was maybe, but this time we're going to do it.
Good, good. Well, so hopefully everybody's had a chance to join in, and I want to kind of dive in head first to some of the course logistical type things that came in from your questions last week. I wanted to give a shout out to Tara Smith. This is her first time to get to watch a broadcast. I guess she's maybe had traveling or work commitments, so this is her first time to get to watch live. So it's an experience, and we're glad to have you, Tara. She's from Rachel's Team Knowledge Seekers. I wanted to show you guys there was a question about the conference that we talked about last time, which is the CORE iChampion conference. And so I wanted to quickly go over that information with you. And I'll also, of course, email this out to you guys. But this is a summit that Tarleton is co-hosting with Stephenville ISD. So it's called the CORE Academy Presents iChampion. So we're partnering on this, and it's July 25th through 27th. And as part of the course, you can use the discount code that we have to get registration for $50 rather than $85. So it's a pretty good discount. And the code for that is TSU Core. Of course, I'll email this out, but if you want to use that when you register, that'll get you a pretty deep discount. And then if you're interested in getting Google certified, they have level 1 and 2 certifications. That's on the last day of the summit. I believe it's an extra $40. So we would love to have any of you join us that are here local. Of course, our folks in Arizona, we would love to have you here too, and our folks over in China. If you want to come to Texas, it's pretty hot here though, I have to say. But all right, so that takes care of that. Sheila Taylor had asked about the CORE conference. I wanted to be sure and mention it. And then I'm also so excited to unveil to you guys this resource cheat sheet. So here it is. This is the resource cheat sheet. And this, like I said last time, is a compilation of tools, links, people you can network with. It's all down here at the bottom on these tabs. So this first tab, you can't really change anything on this tab. But if you click on the apps tab, you will see, once it loads, a list of apps that we've basically, since I started this course. I'm not sure that I did this resource cheat sheet the very first time I did this course, but somewhere along the way, someone had the brilliant idea to do this resource cheat sheet. And so we've been adding tools to it ever since. So any tools that came up this year that we've offered the course, I've added those tools to the list. So for instance, Class Dojo I added to the list. That was one that came up last week. And then same thing down here on the website and tools tab. So you've got the name of the tool, the link, a description, and any other information. And so you all have edit access to this document. So if there's something that's not on this list that you know is a fantastic tool, then I invite you to come and just add it here to the list to share that knowledge with us. The other question that came up is really about everybody's kind of freaking out that the course is about to end and you're going to lose access to the content. And it's so much content to soak in just, the short month that we have together. So this is a way here on this tab, the course content links tab, where you can have access to all of these Soft Chalk lessons even after the course is through, to my YouTube channel for any video demonstrations that you need. Anything else that you think, well, I really would like to have access to that after the course, I can put it here on this tab. And then this last one, building your PLN, in week 5, you'll learn about personal learning networks, but that's the heart of this course really, is making connections with people, networking, figuring out ways that you can connect your classroom to other classrooms. And so this is where you can do that. You can just come in here, add your name, your subject area, and what you're interested in. And then folks can, they'll add you to their PLNs and you can connect that way. So I went ahead and left names that have been added in years past on here. And I'll do the same next year if you want to add your name to the list. So excited to show you guys this. Let me check into the back channel and see how things are going there. Everybody's just checking in and complaining about summer school, it looks like. But the only other thing I wanted to say is hopefully you've received by now your Google Cardboard set. I know, Bonnie Goodson, you said you received yours in the mail and you're so excited you're already experimenting with it, and that's great. Go ahead if you want to go ahead and start. But in week 5, I'll have an experiment that I'll walk you through using that Google Cardboard set, using virtual reality. And so I'm excited for you guys to do that. If you didn't get your cardboard set, it could have been that I didn't have your correct address or it came back in the mail. Don't worry, you can still complete all of the activities for week 5, even if you don't have the cardboard set. So it's just a gift from us to you, and hopefully you enjoy it. Okay. Yes, Tracy, I will share the resource cheat sheet. As soon as this broadcast is over, I'm going to see if I can email it out to everyone or what the best way to disseminate it would be. All right, so your team leads and I met prior to this broadcast to kind of go through some of the questions that you posed last week on your weekly verification forms. And what was interesting to me is that a lot of questions came in around the topic of balance. And maybe that's because we're all kind of a little crazy at this point in the course. You've got a lot going on with your families, and you know that when the school year starts, you're going to be, hitting it hard and heavy, and you want to know how can you find some balance. So we kind of brainstormed some strategies around this topic. One of the questions that came in is, how do you keep from going overboard and using tools? Is there a rule of thumb for finding balance? Or another one, how do you decide even where to start, what technology to pull in? And Stephen and Tracy and Sloan and Jerry had some really good questions around balance. So what suggestions do you guys have around that topic?
Yeah, one thing that I learned in an instructional technology class that I took a couple semesters ago was to basically ask yourself what the relative advantages of integrating technology. So when you're thinking about, using a new tool in your classroom, you need to think, is this going to enhance the learning? And if it's not, then it's not something that you need to integrate. So it's not really about adding something that's going to have a wow factor, if people are coming in to observe. It's really about taking your kids to the next level and being focused on student learning. That's just one thing I always think about.
Yeah, I have to say, Allie brought up this model that was introduced, I don't know, 3 or 4 classes ago. And I'm so impressed, Allie, that you remember this model. That just makes my heart happy. Let me show it really quickly. It's a really good one when you're evaluating technology. It's called the TIP model, and it has some phases that you start with. But what she just described is the relative advantage phase. And she's right. If it does not enhance learning, there is no reason to do it or waste your time on it. And then there's other phases to kind of make sure that you're integrating it for all the right reasons in terms of your objectives and your assessment techniques, how you integrate it. And then it talks about preparing the environment, testing your environment to use it. And then Angela, what you mentioned, the all important step every time you do anything is to assess your own teaching. What worked, what didn't, what can I change next time? So this is a great kind of phase model that if you walk yourself through it, every time you encounter or think about using a new tool, you can't go wrong. So I'm glad you remember this tool, Allie.
Good deal.
And then, we talked about, researching content for your classes. Tracy from Team Ignite wanted to know, with all this content curation, with all the vast amount of resources on the internet, how often should I be looking for new updated content for my subject area? What do you guys think about that?
I think it needs to be, you need to look at the units that you teach throughout the year, because there's so much out there. There's so many resources, so many tools. You could spend hours each day looking at all kinds of different things, and that's obviously not time that we have. So, what I like to do is, just look at it one thing at a time. In this unit, what worked last year, what didn't, what I need to tweak, what is one area in this unit that I could enhance with technology, and look at it in that sense, so that I'm not overwhelming or overloading myself in the amount of hours that it would take to constantly integrate technology, because it's not about how much technology you can integrate. It's about enhancing the learning. What can you integrate to make the learning better for the students? And so, choose one tool at a time. Mm-hmm. Get really good at that one tool. Use it, practice with it with your students. And then when you feel like you've got that one down, choose another one to add on to it.
I agree. So slow and steady wins the race, right? Trying to do too many things is going to frustrate you, and it's going to frustrate your kids too, because they need time, right? If you introduce a new tool and then you introduce a new one the next day, it can overwhelm them as well. So those are really good tips. Well, so some other really insightful questions came in from Jennifer from Team Ignite and Quenisha from your team, Nicole, Innovators. Really kind of looking at this from a leadership angle. So we have quite a few principals and school leaders in our class, and they're wanting to know, how can I showcase my teachers who are rock stars when it comes to technology without singling them out and making them sort of the favorite? Or, what's the best way to get a teacher that's coming from an outside district, maybe that doesn't have as much technology, acclimated to our technology-rich environment? So what are some thoughts you guys have there?
So we talked about, if you're coming in from a district, a new district, orientations, maybe some ongoing, not just at the start of the year, because that's going to be very overwhelming when you're already new, but ongoing throughout the year, and maybe pairing up those new teachers with somebody else on your campus that's really good at technology, or someone that they can kind of go to as a mentor, but also focusing on what they have to bring to the table. Like, they were at a different district, they have some different ideas, they might have some new things. So taking kind of a holistic approach at not only what they can learn there, but what your school can learn from them.
Yeah, that's great advice. What about for showcasing teachers without kind of singling one out and making her the rock star that everybody kind of looks at with daggers and envies?
Right. One thing that that my principal does on my campus, her name's Beth Epps. I'm just going to shout out to her because it has been a really great thing that she's done. We have content-specific vertical teams. So like every month our vertical team meets, and then she kind of makes us focus on one thing. So this year, the focus was on integrating technology, And twice a year, then at a faculty meeting, she has us all present what we've integrated and how it's worked for us in our content area. And so she kind of allows us to showcase what we've been doing. And then she might, secretly go tell somebody that's done something really awesome to share at that time, so that we're all showcasing, but she's able to kind of get that person to be a rock star, but not necessarily single them out, if that makes sense. So she gets the message across, and she allows everybody else to kind of share what they've done too at that time.
I love that. Yeah, I think so. All of these leadership tactics, I mean, leadership is so key, right? When it comes to inspiring teachers and motivating them. So those are really good strategies. So I assume that's motivated you, Allie.
Yes, it's like, and I used to not like to do stuff like that, but since I've given the opportunity to kind of take the floor and do that kind of thing, you get to share, and then everybody else wants to jump on board and share too. Like, it really is just a collaborative effort, like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's been really awesome.
That's great. Well, so another set of questions that came in is all around soft chalk. So we had at least 10 questions about soft chalk. So I wanted to be sure and spend just a little bit of time on that. Before I do, though, I wanted to address Jen had a question in the back channel about, rather than me searching for hours and hours for content specific resources for my subject area, is there a site that I should use? And I don't know about you guys, but I think I would say, to me, that's where the power of your PLN, your personal learning network, comes in. Really, we should never just use one source for anything, even tool wise. We should not, just use Google and so I would say, in terms of that question, your PLN is where you can pitch out a question. If you have 500 people in your personal learning network, you could pose a question about, I'm doing this tomorrow or next week in my lesson. Does anyone have any resources to share? You're going to get people that are just can't wait to share with you what they've done and ideas and adaptations of those ideas. So I would say, rather than focusing on what site to go to, focus on how you can build your PLN. And that's a better strategy for that. So, okay. I wanted to jump into these soft chalk questions really quickly. So let's just start. Bill Brooks, you wanted to know, if I sign up for the free 30-day trial, will I still be able to access everything I created when the trial is over? And the answer is yes to that. And then Margie Gonzalez from Creators wanted to know, is soft chalk used more in K-12 or higher ed? And I would say both. If you ever look at they have a contest every year for lessons, it's a mixture of both. I think maybe they use it in different ways. So what I've seen, for instance, the way I use it is for online delivery of content and online and hybrid courses. But what I've seen, folks that have come through our programs that use it in K-12, they will create lessons, for instance, for the younger grades, they'll create a lesson to be used on the smartboard to have students go up and do the drag and drop activities. Or even in the upper grades, they'll have their students create soft chalks. So, having students create content is very powerful. So they see it as a tool to do that. So I would say it's used in both. Do any of you guys use soft chalk?
No.
No.
I don't, but the smartboard idea is awesome, and I never would have thought of that. That's a perfect way to use it at the elementary level.
Yeah, there's some really neat lessons. In fact, there was one from a teacher in Weatherford who the link is down. I had it in my soft chalk, like a link to her soft chalk that she uses to teach about heat. And it was just really phenomenal what she did. She had videos of herself with a demonstration, and then she had drag and drop activities. So she just presented it to the whole class and then had students come up and do the activities together. The other pieces around this are, how do I share this content? Does it have to be in a learning management system? And it doesn't. It does not have to be in a learning management system. It can just be a public link. In fact, mine are public links. Yes, you see them in Blackboard because that's how I organize things, but they're actually, if you look at the URLs, they're public. They're on my server here at Tarleton. So you can publish them that way. You can also publish them within the cloud through SoftChalk. It seems like there's been some quirks with it, though. Especially more this year. I think they've upgraded to a new version, and I don't know. Several of my team leads said, "Oh, our students are having trouble with downloading this," and so I see Quenisha said it wouldn't download to her district laptop. So some districts maybe blocked it, but the good thing is, yes, it costs a lot of money. Actually, they do site licenses, which are pretty expensive. We're lucky here at Tarleton to have a license, and if you're a student in our program, you get a license. But what I would tell you, if you had trouble downloading it or you just don't see yourself paying for it, an alternative tool is called Weebly, and it's really a website builder, which is exactly what SoftChalk is. It just does it, in a different format. But Weebly will allow you to, for example, embed video straight to the page. It will allow you to create pages with tables of contents, interactive text poppers, those types of things. It has a lot of the same, not completely the same, but a lot of the same functionality you can get in Weebly, and it's free. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew, and I see Hannah partially uses Weebly too. So it's very user-friendly, she says, and I would agree with that. So if you had trouble with SoftChalk, definitely I would encourage you to try Weebly. If you tried SoftChalk and you just love it, I would love to see your lessons. I teach a class in the fall where the students create a SoftChalk lesson, and that's my favorite thing, is to review those. So it's a great tool.
That was my favorite class.
Was it the building building online learning environments? That's my favorite class to teach. Let's see. Oh, I wrote down here too. Other ideas for using it outside of the learning management system in a K-12 environment. So we talked about the Smartboard idea, but if you have students who are absent, it's a great way to do recaps of content that they might have missed. And you can just pop that link to them and their parents, and they'll have that. Or a study guides for your classes. There's, if you just think about any use that you would have for sharing a resource online, it's a resource you're creating that's specific to your class. So it definitely doesn't have to be an online class or a hybrid class. It could be a second grade class for that matter. So. Maria just posted another one similar to Weebly that maybe I need to add to the resource cheat sheet, called Wix.com. So yes, there's tons of tools out there to accomplish the same thing that you could in SoftChalk. Let's see. There were some other ones wanting to know about, is Blackboard the only LMS? And again, since it's not tied to the LMS, it can be, as long as you have a public link or a cloud-based link, you can put that into any learning management system. So Canvas or any of the Google Classroom or Blackboard, so any LMS. So hopefully Maria and Julie and Bill and Margie and Claire and Amanda, hopefully that kind of answered your questions about SoftChalk. Reach out to me if you're still wanting to get it downloaded to try. I can put you in touch with someone here at our help desk who can help troubleshoot. So that you can experiment with it. Or, hey, sign up for our master's program and you can take a whole class on it and you'll get a free license out of it. So, all right. Let's jump over. We only have just a little bit of time left, of course. We always run out of time fast. But this is a question from Vicki from your team, Allie, about, little grades, the littles, and what's better, iPad versus Chromebook. So let's spend a little bit of time. I know Allie had one opinion about it, and Angela has an experience with the other platform. So let's kind of go through that.
Right. So on my specific campus, K2 has iPads, and then the upper grades we have Dell laptops, so not Chromebooks. But I just think for the little kids, iPads are easier because they can hold it up and take a picture and not have to deal with the mouse or the actual keyboard. So it just seems more user-friendly to me. I've never experienced the littler kids using laptops in the classroom. They have them in the computer lab, but not to use all the time in the classroom. So that's just my experience.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Angela, your district is all Google or Chromebooks, right?
Yes, we are. Last year, they went 1-to-1 from grades 3 to 8, and this coming year, they're expanding it to 9 through 12. So everyone 3 through 12 will have their own Chromebook. In my experience, I love the Chromebooks because it's completely online based, and of course, it's all the Google Suite apps, the Google Apps for Education. Everything's online. It makes things much more streamlined in my experience, and that could be just me speaking from the high school teaching experience. But my daughter she just finished 2nd grade, and she loves the Chromebooks. I have one because I was department head this last year, and so every time she comes home, she's always asking to use it, and she has an iPad as well, and she prefers getting on the Chromebook and just playing around with it. And I think maybe just because there's so much more you can do, like some of the apps on an iPad are a little bit limited in the functionality, just depending on who made it, what company it comes from, and that kind of thing. But I think we don't have them for K through 2. I'm not sure the exact reasoning behind that. But I think they could be easily used even with, 1st or 2nd grade. I'm not sure about kindergarten, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hannah brings up a good point about, again, their keyboarding skills. And, I think the first live session we had, we tweeted out a lady in California that she thinks the littles can do it. She really believes they can. I think, every district probably should evaluate what works best for them. Maybe even a mixture, the really little grades get iPads, and then as they progress up, they get, I don't know. But I think it's really, there's obviously not a best answer. There's pros and cons to both for sure. So definitely taking the time to evaluate what's best for your school's infrastructure and climate and culture and kids, all of that should be taken into consideration for sure. So we are at 8 o'clock already. We did start a little bit late, and I apologize again for that, guys. I'm really a little bit nervous. Next week I'm in Chicago for a conference, and so I'll be on hotel Wi-Fi. So, if one of the team leads is leading, you know why. It's because I'm having technical issues. But hopefully, for the last broadcast, I'll be in Chicago, but I will try my best to lead it as I have all of the others. And be sure and submit your questions to the weekly checklist form. That's where we get these questions from. And it's your last chance because next week is the last broadcast. And then, of course, I wanted to send one reminder that week 5 is going to open on Thursday. So for those of you who, haven't even started diving into week 4, you might want to, because you're going to have overlap with week 5, and it can get to be really overwhelming if you wait till the last minute. So week 5 will open Thursday, actually Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. It's going to open. So get ready for that, and we'll dive into week 5, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.